Let's conclude this lesson by talking a little bit more about motion analysis and how that relates to exercise prescription. In the previous segments, I went over the roles that muscles can play during movement and how the extremities as a whole can function in an open and a closed kinetic chain. But if we really want to create functional training programs, we have to know more than just these things. So the goal in this course, from beginning to end, is to be able to analyze motion and therefore use that information to enhance our exercise prescription and enhance performance. So we really need to understand the activity of the client and what they're training for, what their goals are, and use that to formulate a training plan. This is a functional training philosophy that I think most people that work with athletes utilize, but we can also use it with the general population. If we know what the activities are that our clients engage in, we can best design training programs and prepare them for those activities. So to do that, we do need to look at the types of muscles that are utilized, how the muscles are utilized in these motions. So we have to identify the prime movers, other muscles, what roles do those muscles play, and so on. We need to train those muscles in the same way. If they work as stabilizers, we need to do exercises where they have to work as stabilizers. If they're movers and they have to produce force, especially large amounts of force, we have to train them in a way that encourages them to do that. That's the only way to use our training to enhance performance. We have to understand how the extremities work in these activities. Are they working primarily in an open kinetic chain or a closed kinetic chain? And we've talked about those things already. But we also have to think about other aspects of performance, such as the length of activity. How long are these activities that your clients engage in occurring? We train a sprinter very differently than we train a marathon runner. Obviously they're utilizing the same muscles in very much the same way, but they're doing them over a much longer period of time. So for an endurance athlete, we have to think about aerobic capacity, lung volumes, training those systems, versus a sprinter. We don't have to worry about those as much, but we have to worry about maximizing the amount of ATP that's available for the activity. So we have to think of things like the length of the activity, the intensity of the activity, and so on. In this course, we'll talk about those aspects of performance as well and how to incorporate them into our exercise prescription. So knowing all of these factors allows us to identify the factor that may be limiting performance in your particular client. We might identify that, hey, it's hip weakness that really is the factor holding them back, or it's aerobic capacity, or it's availability of ATP, and so on. So by identifying kind of the weakest points in this whole system, we can target those points for performance by prescribing the appropriate exercises. This often will include identifying structures that are limiting motion. Maybe you have structures that are tight, muscles or tendons, muscular tendinous units that are limiting motion because of tightness, or they are altering movement patterns because of weakness, and so on. So in this class, that's really the focus here, is to be able to analyze motion, then to examine what aspects may be limiting performance in those motions. So in conclusion, in the Human Movement series, we'll be gaining knowledge and understanding of the major muscle groups of the body, and then how to teach others to strengthen, improve, and maintain these vital parts of the human body. We'll understand why specific exercises are performed in training and conditioning, and how we can manipulate different acute variables, rest times, reps, sets, and so on, to bring about the changes that we want to bring about that will enhance performance. We'll use kinesiology and the ability to analyze movement to improve specific aspects of physical conditioning, enhance performance, and reduce the risk of injury. And we'll understand how exercise physiology, the ability to power and fuel the body, can also impact movement, and how to utilize that knowledge to enhance our exercise programming to bring about the changes that we want to bring about in the performance of our body in generating this energy. Hopefully, as we move through this course, you're as excited about the content as I am. If you ever have any questions or issues, something that you don't understand, or some way that you feel you can better apply this content, never hesitate to reach out to me. That's why I'm here.